You're listening to LoopIt Radio. Today's episode features Sandra and Alex. Let's loop it.
Okay, let's kick things off. We've all been there, right? You're talking maybe about something you really know well, like a project or something you're passionate about. And then smack in the middle of a sentence, it hits you. You actually have no idea what point you're trying to make anymore.
Oh, that feeling. Yeah, that sort of confused rambling where your brain just seems to short circuit your mouth.
Exactly. It's like, you know the material's good, the idea is solid, but somehow it comes out sounding, well, messy, disorganized.
It really is the sound of potentially great ideas just getting lost in hesitant delivery. And it's frustrating, isn't it? Because you know you're not disorganized, but that's how you might come across.
Totally. So our mission today in this deep dive is to basically find the antidote for that. We're digging into 9 really transformative communication habits.
And these aren't just random tips. They come from an expert source, someone who's coached literally millions on this stuff.
Right. It's a proper tactical blueprint. The goal here is to give you habits that can make you a clearer, much more confident speaker, like right away.
And I think what's really key to get up front is the structure. It's not just a listicle, you know?
Good point.
These 9 habits, they fall into 3 really logical groups, 3 pillars, basically. Delivery, vocal, and cognitive.
Delivery, vocal, cognitive.
No. And if you can get a handle on these 3 areas, you're basically covering all the bases of speaking, from like the physical side of it, the energy, to the mental architecture of how you structure your thoughts.
And here's maybe the biggest mindset shift we need to talk about. We often think of communication skills as, I don't know, like you're either born with it or you're not, some fixed talent.
Right. Which is completely wrong, actually.
Yeah, these are habits, just like any other habit. And if they're habits, well, you can practice them, you can adjust them, you can actually change them entirely.
They're not just stuck speaking the way you speak right now. Clarity is something you can actively build, habit by habit.
That's so liberating, isn't it? It takes it away from being this big, scary performance anxiety thing.
Exactly. And puts it into the realm of just, behavioral tweaks, simple corrections you can practice.
So where do we start? Which pillar first?
Let's start with the most immediate, the most sort of outward-facing changes you can make. That's group 1, the delivery habits.
Okay, delivery habits. This group is all about controlling the rhythm, the flow, the pace of your words.
Yeah, basically how you present what you're saying. It's about turning that potential background noise into ideas that people actually, want to lean in and hear.
And the first habit here, well, it feels almost too simple, maybe even counterintuitive.
It does. It really does. Habit 1, pause more.
Pause more, see? Simple. But the source material emphasizes just how shocking the transformation can be with this one change. People tend to want to fill silence, don't they?
Absolutely. We're conditioned to think silence is awkward or means we're unprepared, but it's a huge mistake. The expert uses this great analogy about white space.
Ah, like in writing.
Exactly. Imagine getting a document, right? And it's just a solid wall of text, no paragraphs, no margins, nothing.
Ugh, yeah. Instantly overwhelming. You wouldn't even know where to start reading.
Your brain just resists it. It looks indigestible. Well, the same thing happens with sound. If I just talk continuously, never pausing, like this, just rambling on and on without any break.
All the ideas just blur into one big whoosh.
Yeah, right. The listener's trying to process point A, but I'm already on to point C and maybe even point D. Their brain gets overloaded, they stop trying to keep up, and it all just becomes, well, noise. Mumbo jumbo.
So the pause isn't dead air. It's actually processing time.
It's essential processing time. It gives the listener a moment for the last idea to actually land, to sink in before you hit them with the next one. Even just a 1-second pause can dramatically reduce that cognitive load.
Okay, but what about that fear? That feeling when you pause and suddenly it feels like an eternity and you think, oh God, I've forgotten my next point, or someone's going to jump in.
That feeling is definitely real. We've all felt it. But here's the irony, and it's a big one. The way it's perceived by others is the complete opposite. Yeah. Universally, people who use strategic pauses are seen as more confident, more thoughtful, more in control.
Huh. Why is that?
Because it suggests you're composed, you're deliberate, you're not rushing because you're not afraid of a little silence. It signals, subconsciously, that you're comfortable with your material and you trust the listener to keep up. It's actually a power move.
Wow. Okay, so pause more. That's habit 1. If we take that idea of control and composure, how does that connect to the next habit?
It connects perfectly because once you're comfortable pausing, you can start playing with speed. Habit 2, slow down to highlight.
The verbal highlighter. I like that.
Yeah. Most people, especially when they're nervous or maybe just naturally enthusiastic, they tend to speak at one default speed, and usually it's pretty fast.
Guilty as charged sometimes. You feel like you need to get all the info out quickly, respect people's time.
Right. That's the common thinking.
Yeah.
The expert even mentions his own default fast rate coming from certain cultural backgrounds where speed is valued. But it's a cognitive fallacy.
How so?
The belief is, if I talk fast, I deliver more information per minute, so I'm being more efficient and impactful. But the reality, speaking fast all the time actually dilutes your impact.
Ah, the highlighter analogy again.
Exactly. If everything is spoken at the same rapid pace, nothing stands out. It's like highlighting the entire page of a textbook. What's the key takeaway? Who knows? It all looks the same.
So the trick is contrast. Not speaking slowly all the time, but using speed strategically.
Precisely. Let's try that example from the source. A really critical message like, your voice matters. If I just rattle it off quickly within a sentence, it's really important to remember your voice matters in these discussions. It just kind of gets lost, right?
It blends in.
But now imagine slowing down dramatically for that key phrase, maybe adding pauses we just talked about. Your voice, it matters. Communication. It's not just a skill. It's a superpower.
Okay, yeah, that lands completely differently. Much more weight, more conviction.
Palpably different, isn't it? So we're not saying talk like you're in slow motion for the whole meeting. That would be painful. But when you get to a key point, a statistic, a conclusion, a call to action, deliberately slow down, maybe by 20, 30%. That change in rhythm acts like a signal flare to the listener's brain. Pay attention. This is important.
Combine the pause and the slowdown for maximum effect.
You got it. And that deliberate control leads us right into solving that rambling problem we mentioned at the start.
Ah, yes, the mid-sentence meltdown.
Which brings us to habit 3. Use declarative statements.
Okay, declarative statements. What does that mean in practice?
It means ending your thoughts. Rambling often happens because your mouth is literally moving faster than your thoughts are fully formed. You're thinking out loud.
Using speech as a discovery process.
Exactly. And that internal searching process, the ums, the ahs, the qualifiers like maybe, possibly, kind of, sort of, I guess we could maybe perhaps consider, it all spills out.
Making you sound unsure, even if you actually know your stuff really well.
Precisely. Your sentences just trail off. They don't have a clear endpoint. They lack that full stop, that period. Let's take an example. Imagine someone trying to suggest a change based on social media data.
Okay.
They might ramble like this. So, I was looking at the engagement numbers and, it seems like maybe we should possibly think about timing our posts differently because, consistency might be kind of important and it could possibly affect our reach, I think.
Oof, yeah. Even if the idea is spot on, the delivery just tanks it. It sounds so hesitant, you're left wondering, do they even believe this?
Exactly. It erodes trust. Now, contrast that with a declarative statement. It's short, it's concise, it delivers the point with conviction, and ends with a clear full stop. It forces you to actually crystallize the thought before you say it.
So, same core idea, but declaratively.
Our timing and consistency with social media content directly impact engagement, period.
Wow. Okay. That's night and day.
10 times clearer, right? It's coherent. It conveys confidence. It tells the listener you've thought this through. So mastering these 3, pausing, slowing down strategically, and using declarative statements, that's the bedrock of confident delivery.
All right, so we've covered how we deliver the words, the pacing, the flow. Now we move to the actual instrument making the sound, our voice.
Exactly. Group 2 is all about the vocal habits. This is the physical side, the energetic side. It's about caring for your voice so it can perform powerfully without getting tired or strained.
And this is huge for anyone who talks a lot for their job or even just, socially. That feeling at the end of the day where your throat is scratchy, your voice feels weak.
That vocal fatigue, yeah, it's a real problem. And it points directly to habit 4. Warm up your voice.
Ah, the dreaded warm-up. This feels like something only singers or actors do.
That's the perception, but it's a fundamental mistake for any professional who relies on their voice. Think about it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't ask your leg muscles to go from 0 to a full sprint without stretching.
No way. Recipe for injury.
Well, your vocal cords are muscles too. Tiny, delicate ones, and we expect them to go from complete silence straight into, say, a 90-minute presentation or back-to-back calls. Cold.
And the result is strain, fatigue, sounding weaker.
Underperformance, exactly. But as you said, there's a barrier. Vocal warm-ups feel, well, they feel weird.
Awkward. Totally. You're making strange buzzing sounds.
Lip trills, humming. Yeah. And because maybe nobody else in the office is doing it, you feel self-conscious, so you skip it.
Guilty.
You just have to embrace, 3 minutes of feeling slightly silly for potentially hours of better performance and protection. The source gives a really effective, simple routine based on the lip trill.
The lip trill, that's the brrr sound vibrating your lips.
That's the one. It's brilliant because it gets blood flowing to the vocal folds and warms them up gently without actually slamming them together like loud talking does. It reduces strain right from the start.
Okay, so what's the routine?
It's 3 parts. Part 1. Just do a continuous lip trill on one single comfortable note for about a full minute. Just get a smooth, easy vibration going.
What if you can't keep it going? Sometimes my lips just stop buzzing.
Good question. Pro tip from the source. If you struggle with that, gently use your index fingers to push your cheeks in slightly right beside your mouth. It gives your lips a bit more support and resistance. Works like a charm for most people.
Okay, push the cheeks in. Got it. Minute 1, steady note. What's next?
Part 2. Add some movement. Lip trill, a simple tune. Your favorite song, happy birthday, a simple scale, whatever. Just glide between notes while trilling. This adds flexibility. Another minute on this.
Okay, trilling a song. Feels even sillier, but I get the point.
Embrace the silly. Final part, part 3. Short bursts. For the last minute, do quick staccato lip trills, like a rapid ba-ba-po sound, but with the lip vibration.
Okay, rapid fire trills.
This really helps reset your breath support and shakes out any lingering tension in the vocal mechanism.
So 3 minutes total. Steady note, trill a song, then short bursts.
That's it. The payoff is huge. Stronger projection, way less fatigue at the end of the day, less tension in your jaw and neck. But maybe do it in the car on the way to work. We're in the restroom stall.
Not walking into the big meeting going...
Probably not ideal, no. Do it out of sight.
All right, so that's the active warm-up. What's next for vocal care?
This next one is fascinating because it's about what you do when you're not speaking. Habit 5. Default to nose breathing.
Wait, how I breathe when I'm silent affects my voice.
Massively. Think about all the hours you spend not talking during the day, working at your computer, reading, driving, even sleeping. Your default breathing pattern during those huge chunks of time determines the baseline health of your throat and vocal cords.
Okay, so what's the issue? Mouth breathing versus nose breathing?
Exactly. If your default unconscious breathing pattern is through your mouth, you're basically setting your voice up to fail. Mouth breathing lets dry, unfiltered air rush directly over your throat and vocal cords. It dries out those delicate mucous membranes. Dry cords are stiff, prone to irritation, and can't vibrate efficiently. Plus, mouth breathing often leads to shallower chest breathing, which increases tension and overall fatigue.
Wow. I hadn't really thought about that connection.
Yeah.
And we breathe, what, thousands of times a day?
Over 20,000 breaths a day on average. So if your default is mouth breathing, that drying, irritating effect is happening 20,000 times. But if you switch your default to nose breathing, the benefits compound just as fast.
Okay, sell me on nose breathing. What are the benefits? The source mentioned 5.
Yep, 5 key compounding effects. First, your nose is designed to humidify the air you breathe in. So right away, you're sending moist air down to your throat and lungs.
Protecting the vocal cords from drying out. Makes sense.
Second, building on that, it actively keeps your throat and vocal cords hydrated. Moist cords are flexible, resilient cords. They just work better and feel better.
Okay, hydration. What else?
Third, oxygen efficiency. Nose breathing actually helps you absorb about 20% more oxygen compared to mouth breathing. Something about nitric oxide production in the sinuses and better air distribution in the lungs. More oxygen means less fatigue, clearer thinking.
20% more oxygen. That's significant.
It is. Fourth benefit, and this is huge for anyone who gets speaking anxiety. Nose breathing naturally activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest system. It promotes calmness, lowers heart rate. Just consciously switching to slow nose breathing can short-circuit feelings of panic.
So it's a built-in stress reducer. Wow. Okay, number 5.
Number 5 is the obvious one we forget, filtration. Your nose hairs and mucous membranes are there for a reason, to trap dust, pollen, viruses, bacteria, all the junk you don't want hitting your lungs or irritating your vocal cords.
Oh, the reason for nose hair. The expert even had a funny aside about that.
Yeah, basically said, don't wax it all out. It's doing an important job. Protects the instrument.
Okay, this is actually a really practical check-in. Listener, just notice right now, how are you breathing? Mouth or nose? If it's your mouth, just gently close it and switch. Seems small, but 20,000 times a day. That adds up.
It really does. So you've warmed up, you're breathing correctly to keep things hydrated. Now you need to actually use the instrument effectively. Which brings us to habit 6. Use more volume.
Okay, volume. Now, we need to be careful here, right? This isn't about being the loudest person in the room or shouting people down.
Absolutely not. It's not about shouting. It's about speaking with presence, with vitality. It's about projecting your voice so it comfortably fills the space you're in, whether that's across a meeting table or through a microphone on a call. It's about energy.
Energy. How does volume relate to energy?
Well, think about the physics. When you speak, your vocal cords vibrate. Those vibrations create sound waves, which are literally energy traveling through the air. When that energy reaches the listener, it does more than just convey words. It conveys, well, life, vitality.
So a quiet, weak voice subconsciously signals low energy.
Exactly. It can signal hesitation, lack of confidence, maybe even lack of passion for what you're saying. But when you speak with appropriate volume, with resonance, the subconscious message is, I'm engaged, I believe this, I have energy to share. Volume is how your conviction feels to the listener.
And people link that vocal strength to personal strength, don't they?
Inevitably, it's a primal connection. If your voice is small, the assumption, fair or not, is often that your ideas might be small too, or that you don't fully back them. But a voice that carries, that implies confidence, conviction, leadership potential even.
So why do so many people hold back? Why the tendency to speak too softly?
Huge mental barrier here. Many people, maybe especially women or people from certain cultural backgrounds, worry about being too much. They equate speaking with confident volume to being aggressive or dominating.
The fear of taking up too much space.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But the expert argues that often the bigger problem isn't playing too big, it's playing too small. If you're sharing something important but your voice lacks energy and presence, you're actually doing your ideas and your listeners a disservice. You're preventing connection.
So you need to give your voice permission to match the importance of your message.
You have to overcome that fear. Realize that your voice deserves to fill the space just as much as your ideas do. Speak with vitality.
Okay, this feels like we're going deeper now. Delivery was the how. Vocal was the instrument care. Now, group 3, cognitive habits. This sounds like it's all about the brain work before the words come out.
Exactly right. This is about the mental discipline behind clear communication. If you've got the delivery down, your voice is strong, but you still find yourself rambling or confusing people, the issue isn't physical anymore. It's likely structural. It's cognitive.
And the first habit here tackles that chaotic, multi-topic rambling we talked about.
Yes. Habit 7. Finish one thought at a time. Seems obvious, but clearly it isn't in practice. What's the core problem when we jump between thoughts?
The moment you introduce idea B before idea A is fully landed and sort of closed off, you force your listener onto a mental treadmill. They're trying to hold on to A, process it, while simultaneously catching B, which then might trigger you to mention C.
And suddenly they're juggling 3 or 4 half-formed ideas you've thrown at them.
Right. They're mentally chasing you. And what happens when chasing gets too exhausting?
You give up. You tune out. Zone out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's replay that messy example. Someone trying to cover 4 distinct points in one go.
Okay, the auditory chaos version.
Right, so the marketing launch is set for next week, which is great, but we really need to talk about the landing page conversion rates because they were terrible last quarter. And actually, that reminds me, the Q3 budget looks pretty tight, so we should review that. Oh, and speaking of tight schedules, let's just grab a working lunch today, okay? Make sure you bring the budget report, though. Ugh, it's like a mental traffic jam. Launch date, conversion rates, budget review, lunch plans, all colliding.
Total collision. The brain is trying to manage multiple threads simultaneously, launching, remembering budgets, feeling hungry, scheduling. This multitasking while speaking is what creates that fragmented, scattered, messy output. The underlying ideas might be brilliant, but the delivery guarantees they won't land effectively.
So what's the fix? The master communicator method.
It's about discipline, mental discipline. Start a thought, commit to it, finish it completely, deliver the full stop. Pause, then move to the next distinct idea. Think sequentially, not in parallel.
Structure is clarity. Okay, let's hear those same 4 points delivered sequentially.
All right. Okay, team. First point. The marketing launch is confirmed for next week. That's our top priority right now. Implied pause.
Clear. Point 1 landed.
Second, we need to address the landing page conversion rates regionally. Let's schedule time to optimize that this afternoon. Implied pause.
Got it. Point 2.
Third, the Q3 budget requires review. Please bring the latest report to our working lunch today, which we'll use for that discussion. Implied pause.
Point 3 and 4 combine cleanly. Okay.
Are there any immediate questions just on the launch date itself? See, each idea gets its own space. They become digestible, persuasive even, because the structure conveys control and clarity.
That sequential thinking is key, and it feels like a natural lead-in to the next habit, which is about structure on a slightly bigger scale.
Exactly. If finishing one thought is microstructure, this next one is macrostructure. Often when you have a great idea but people seem confused, the problem isn't you, it's the lack of a clear structure for presenting the idea.
Which brings us to habit 8. Learn to use frameworks.
Frameworks. Yeah, it can sound a bit like corporate jargon, maybe.
A little bit, yeah. What does it mean practically?
Think of them as mental scaffolding, or like a simple map you give your listener so they can follow your thinking easily. They simplify complex information by providing a predictable path.
Okay, a map. I like that. The source highlights one specific framework.
Yeah, a really simple but powerful one. CCC stands for Context Core Connect.
Context Core Connect. CCC. Okay, break that down.
So context comes first. This is where you set the stage. You give the listener the why before the what. Why are we talking about this? What's the situation? What's the problem we're facing? You anchor them.
So they understand the background before you drop the main point. Makes sense. What's next?
Next is the core. This is your single main message, your key idea. If they remember only one thing, this is it. And crucially, it should be delivered clearly, simply, declaratively. Just one core idea per CCC frame.
One idea. Okay, and the final C.
Connect. This is the so what. Why should the listener care? What's in it for them or for the team or the project? You connect your core idea directly to their world, their interests, the benefits. It's the relevance piece.
Context, why this matters now. Core, the main point. Connect, why you should care. Okay, how does this prevent rambling?
Because most rambling happens when people skip the context and connect and just jump into a poorly defined core, often apologizing as they go.
Let's use that example of needing more help on a tight deadline project. The rambling version.
Might sound like. So, this course launch is coming up really fast, and I'm a bit worried we might not make it. So I was thinking maybe we could possibly get some extra help, like maybe some editors, if possible.
Yeah, vague, apologetic, unclear. Now, CCC approach.
Okay, context. As you know, we're facing a really tight deadline for the new online course launch next Friday. Sets the scene, shared understanding of pressure.
Okay, context established.
Core. To meet that deadline without compromising quality, we need to bring on 2 additional freelance editors immediately. Clear, specific, declarative main point.
Direct, no apologies.
Connect. This will ensure we launch on time, prevent burnout within our current team, and ultimately protect the quality and reputation of our brand during this critical launch. Clear benefits for the listener organization.
Wow. Same request, totally different impact. It's structured, it's logical, it's persuasive.
The framework forces clarity. It stops the rambling and replaces it with reasoned argument. Extremely useful.
Okay, that's powerful. So we've structured our thoughts sequentially, used a framework. What's the final cognitive habit for when things still don't land? When someone just isn't getting it?
Yes. This is where many people make a crucial mistake. Their instinct is wrong. This leads to habit 9. Explain differently with an analogy.
Explain differently. Okay, what's the mistake people make?
When someone looks confused, the default reaction is often to repeat the exact same explanation, just maybe slower or louder, as if volume or speed was the problem.
Right, like saying the complicated definition again, but really slowly and loudly.
Which never works. If the first explanation didn't connect, repeating it won't magically make it clearer. It usually just increases frustration on both sides. The source shared a story about his mom trying to explain compounding interest with a super complex definition.
Yeah, I can imagine how well that went.
Exactly. The solution isn't repetition, it's translation. And that's where analogies come in.
Analogies as translation tools, how do they work?
They are mental shortcuts. They take something complex, unfamiliar, abstract, the unknown, and link it directly to something simple, familiar, concrete, the known, that already exists in the listener's mind. It builds a bridge.
Okay, bridge from unknown to known. Give me the classic example used. Compounding interest again.
Perfect example. The technical definition is accurate but opaque, right? Interest accruing on principal plus previously accumulated interest, snooze.
Yeah.
Now the snowball analogy. Imagine you start a tiny snowball at the top of a long, snowy hill. You give it a little push.
Okay, got the visual.
As it rolls, it picks up more snow, right? It gets bigger. But here's the key. The bigger it gets, the more surface area it has. So the rate at which it picks up new snow increases. It grows faster and faster.
Exponentially.
Exactly. Starts small, principle, picks up snow, interest, and the bigger it gets, the faster it accumulates more snow, compounding. Suddenly, this abstract financial concept becomes tangible, visual, intuitive.
Because everyone understands a snowball rolling downhill. That makes perfect sense.
And that analogy apparently had a real impact. The expert's dad.
Right. He finally got compounding interest because of the snowball, started investing differently, and eventually bought his dream car, that Nissan 300Z.
That's the power of making something truly click for someone. It's not just about understanding, it's about enabling action.
So analogies aren't just clever ways to talk. They have specific functions. 3
key functions, according to the source. 1, they make complex ideas dramatically simple and accessible. 2, they make your message sticky, far more memorable than a dry definition.
And 3,
they make you, the speaker, seem more relatable and engaging. It shows you care enough to find a way to connect with the listener's world, not just spout jargon. The advice is clear. Stop just explaining harder. Start connecting differently. Use an analogy, hashtag tag outro.
Wow. Okay, so we've really covered a lot of ground there. 9 distinct habits grouped into those 3 core areas.
Yeah, we started with delivery, the importance of pausing, the strategic use of slowing down to highlight, and the power of declarative statements to cut through the rambling. That's controlling the how.
Then we move to the vocal habits, literally caring for the instrument. Warming up your voice like any muscle, the surprising impact of defaulting to nose breathing for health and calm, and using appropriate volume to convey energy and conviction.
And finally, the cognitive habits, the mental game. Finishing one thought before starting the next, using frameworks like CCC to structure complex ideas logically, and leveraging analogies to explain differently and truly connect when things get confusing.
It really feels like a comprehensive toolkit. Mastering these isn't just about sounding better, is it? It feels deeper than that.
Much deeper. It fundamentally changes how effectively you connect with people, how much influence your ideas have. In a way, the better you become at communicating clearly, the more of your actual authentic self the world gets to experience. Your thoughts, your passion, your conviction, unhindered by poor habits.
That's a powerful thought. Getting your true self across more effectively.
And if we're thinking about the ultimate goal, that connection, there's that beautiful quote from Maya Angelou the source uses.
Oh, right. Remind us.
People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
Mm-hmm. And clear, confident, connected communication. It's really about making people feel heard, understood, maybe even inspired. That feeling is what lasts.
Precisely. That emotional resonance is the measure of success. So the encouragement is, practice these habits, get better. Not really to impress anyone, though that might happen.
But to connect, to be understood.
To connect more deeply. Because ultimately, when you learn to speak with more clarity, more confidence, and importantly, more care for the listener, that's when people don't just hear you, they actually start to listen.
Thank you so much to Alex and Sandra for being here and contributing to today's discussion. We'll see you in the next episode.